primary title is engineer. My main priority when I show up at the racetrack is engineering the car and making sure it's fast and good to drive for the guys.
Ground radio check, turn 5.
Copy, radio check, loud and clear.
An engineer is an analyst and a producer. That person is definitely taking the information from the driver's feedback and equating it to what changes we can make to make improvements. I think everybody's position is an incredible amount of responsibility, but essentially it's the engineer's decisions that are making the calls for the capabilities, the possibility, the potential of the car.
They work with us, let us know what we need to adjust on the car, how to make the car go faster, how to help the drivers get more performance out of the vehicle.
I think it's even less than we had predicted. It may still run out by the very end, but we'll see. It's also coming up a little bit.
We work nonstop with the engineers, from the computer engineers to the chassis engineers. They're making the call ultimately, and then we're adjusting the car to their specifications.
It's difficult for me to put a thumb on one title and say this is my main job or concern. So it's something that's always been difficult for me to answer. Let me think about that one and circle back to it.
Radio check, Hugo.
Copy, loud and clear.
Right.
Copy.
I'm going to go ahead and make a change, but just keep in mind, relative to anyone else.
The hardest part of my job, really, I would have to say, is just trying to give two different drivers what they need to feel in the car. It's easy to have one guy and make the car do what he wants it to do. No two drivers are 100% alike, and they feel differently, or inner ear balance and all that works a little different, so every driver is a little bit different. So getting a car that can suit two, sometimes 3 or 4 different drivers in a race and make them all quick on average is the most difficult part. Having a driving background, I can understand what the driver is feeling and trying to describe to me. Helps me a lot to make quicker decisions without having to run back to the data. Right here. Mindful of using the TC too, more using the TC to protect the tire instead of waiting for the tire to drop. Yeah. We work very well as a team, and we always have. That's why we've chosen this group of people to work together. None of us, including myself, are the magic ticket to how this team performs. It's how well everyone works together, including the drivers.
Radio check.
Copy, Ross.
Copy me.
Yeah, copy that, copy.
I started at the bottom, came in as a mechanic, and I did truck driving, I did tires, and I've done every position on the team. At one of the smaller races, the engineer was struggling, and I offered up my advice, and it magically took us from bad to good in a hurry. And people started noticing that I kind of understood more than maybe I showed, And over the years, I've climbed the ladder, and it takes, a lot of studying and a lot of effort to get the picture that I've developed in my head.
My name is Tad, and I'm an engineer. Most of what I do is data and strategy engineering. We look at timing and scoring, collect a lot of data from that, compare where we're at, where everybody else is at, where we're going, where everybody else is going in terms of like closing rates, different speeds that everybody's going, average throughout the race, throughout the stint, throughout the weekend. At the beginning of last year, everything was kind of difficult because cars new, teams new, everything's new, don't have like a working data system or anything set up. So getting ahead of that in the first couple of races is pretty difficult, but then once everything's set up, it's pretty smooth sailing, really. Frank does networking. He takes care of the data system on the car and make sure the car is zeroed every session, make sure that the data system is recording as it should be, and that when we go to look at the data, it's real numbers. It's what is actually happening. It's not just something the car is recording. Every race, pretty much constantly, we're talking through them about the car, engine map settings that we're on, what can we do to improve, maximizing the performance window we're allowed to be in per the rules.
Congratulations, guys. Good job. You won first bowl.
Feels good. My grandfather passed away like 2 days ago, so it's really tough to come and race here. So that was definitely for him. So a bit emotional, but also happy to get my first pole. Can't thank the guys enough for helping me, and I'm really glad I came out to race this weekend and just got to do what I love. So really happy with my first pole, and hopefully it's the first of many for these guys too. So.
Roman did it for us in qualifying, so just super happy proud of the whole team. First pole for the team. It's what we've been working for a year and a half. Right now, just gonna enjoy the moment. Be proud of everybody. Thankful for everybody that's around us and supporting us.
It feels real awesome. All that work's finally paying off. We finally getting the puzzle together.
It's good. We've worked hard towards this. Had a lot of ups and downs, and we finally achieved it.
This is essentially the start of the weekend. To start off on the right foot like this, to win a pole position is definitely fantastic for morale. It proves that everybody in here has what it takes, and it's what we work for every week, week in, week out.
No pressure, because Phil's here, but engineering.
Engineering? Well, I mean, engineering is just another cog in the wheel of success, right? If you're in the meetings and you see these guys talking to each other, it's like the nucleus of where everything sprouts out for the performance of the car. A constant presence from minute to minute, second to second, when the car's in here or when it's out on the track. There's two different types of data, right? There's the driver data and then there's the engineering data. And on this team, I think everyone's evolved to trust Phil on the evolution of the car. The three engineers we have, with Frank and Tad and Phil, everyone brings something very different. And it just it's evolved to this very finely tuned, fluid movement where no one's questioning what anyone does. Everyone trusts that we're going to actually get there in the end. That's the evolution we've spent in the last year and a half, is that, at least from my perspective, is trusting that evolution is going to get there in the end, and it does. No matter how far we've been down sometimes in some races, some days, the evolution always seems to come good at the important day, which is race day.
Break down Tad, what he does.
You can't break down Tad. I don't know. It's like Goodwill Hunting. He's got stuff flying in his head, and then it's like you've got 5 billion things going on, and when you ask him a question, he knows exactly where to extract it from and brings it right down to. I think Phil will back me up on that one. And all that capability shrinks, a lot of wasted time. We can get to the results very quickly, and he's already working on the results of something we haven't even asked him yet. So that's fun to see. And then Frank, you know, he's the guy to go to fix stuff. You know, something's gone wrong, and then his experience is very deep. He'll think of something, he solved a problem on a car, you know, 3 years ago that will apply to something on our car here. So he can, you know, solve those kind of issues and back up Tad, you know, in that side. And that's why all the bases are covered. You know, I've been racing since, you know, the 80s. So, you know, all through that time, you know, I picked up all the things and I'll throw stuff out there, not afraid to throw it out there, whether it's counted or not, because that's kind of what the team's about, right? No one's going to put you now for coming up with a stupid. Well, they did today, but that's okay. When I said we should just lead from the start, I thought that was a pretty good strategy, but technically, you know, I guess that's pretty basic strategy.
You know, you always try to plan everything as much as you can, but as soon as the green flag drops, it's completely different than everything you planned. So you just have to be willing to adjust. But I'm ready to go racing.
Yeah.
Good job this week so far.
Thank you.
See you in a little while.
Green flag, green flag. Go.
One for caution for.
The yellow is for lightning.
Red flag.
Flag, Ross. Red flag.
But there's got to be more lightning in that thing, I would imagine. If they get one more strike, it's going to go past the 30 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So it's 30 minutes from the last strike. Where's Ross?
He's right here.
So just to update you, it's gonna get a little tricky if they go green with about 30 minutes to go.
Yeah.
That's right on the cusp of what the fuel we have left in the car entire life.
Yeah.
So it's gonna kind of depend on where it is.
It's gonna rain.
Yeah. So if we have some with the tires on it, you feel like we have a little more pace in it if we leave those on, and everybody else will probably put fresh tires on if they have the opportunity to try.
You know, I've been fortunate to work with a lot of great engineers. You know, my career as a driver. But there's some guys that just they stand out. They all have their own different ways of working, and on day one working with Phil, you'd be, this guy's crazy, he has no idea what he's doing. On day three, you're like, oh my God, this guy's a genius, how did he figure that out? And it's like any creative person, you kind of just have to give Phil his legs to figure it out, and 9 out of 10 times he figures it out, and I couldn't be happier that he agreed to come back and be part of this program.
Say it's dry.
If it's dry,
You're saying that they might put new on.
a couple of guys might put new on. If they go after 30 to the end, we should be good. But if they go right at 30, it's going to be on that. It's going to be on that cusp.
I'll reread the procedure, but we'll be doing at least a few laps under yellow to get the field sorted out. They should be reverting everything to the order that it was last green lap. So that'll probably be 3, 4, 5 laps behind the safety car to get that sorted out.
Tad is a very rare individual. How he multitasks and his depth of knowledge on just such a wide variety of stuff. He's just such an awesome asset to the team. As a designer, as an engineer, as a data guy, and he understands how the car works, and he can pretty much do any job on the car, and that's a real rarity. So when I got the opportunity to take him on full time, I was all over that opportunity for sure. Frank is just a specialist in what he does, and I love that he gets his head down, he's focused. He's been instrumental in our remote engineering with Aston Martin in England, the way he set up our networks and the communication, and And you know, we've been told by them that, you know, we're kind of the gold standard for all their teams around the world, and a lot of that is, you know, down to him. But again, just a top-notch guy.
I mean, I can't imagine there's not more lightning in that thing, so I don't see. Yeah. Best scenario is they end it.
All competitors, you should be continuation of weather. This space has been equipped complete. Started, checker flag. Right.
I want to dedicate this win this weekend to my no-no. It's been a super hard week to show up here and to come here and, you know, do what we do on a normal weekend with a clear mind. So obviously, with my grandpa passing away on Tuesday, somebody who, you know, helped raise me and helped me become the person I am today, it definitely wasn't easy. Definitely dedicate the result this weekend to my no-no.
The guys have done an incredible job with the setup. We hit the ground running immediately. The hard work was done in qualifying yesterday with Roman's stellar lap. You know, we've got great momentum in Heart of Racing at the moment.
You know, you can never plan these things. We'll take the win. It didn't finish the way we wanted, but, you know, for sure we were strong all weekend. Super happy, super proud of everybody in the team that contributes to this to get us here. Just a proud moment, I think, for everybody.
A little sad that it went red flag when it did. Would have preferred green for the rest of the race because we seemed like we were really strong and we had all the options that anybody could take under control and we knew what to expect. But in the end, none of it really mattered because we went red. That was that.
It's a solid win. We lead from the beginning to the end. I think that's good. We have problem. Well, but hey, you know, it's not a problem anymore.
What exactly does Frank do again?
Yeah, I still haven't quite figured out.
Yeah. Oh, I did a lot. You guys missed it. You guys missed it. I have to cool down, wake up something to cool down his phone so that the telemetry did not drop down.
Oh, see?
Yeah. Seriously.
It's the little things.
They do so much more than just engineering the car. That's just what, you know, they do on race weekends. But, you know, the strength of our team, I believe, is we have so many all-rounders, you know, and then it just multiplies their ability and the impact they have on our performance.
Everyone is a superstar here, right? But it's hard to quantify it. It's great. I mean, I love every minute of being part of all this whole gang of crazy people.